Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday from Arnie's. Happy birthday to you.
This is Alan Karpick with the legendary Howell Wheaton, who is 98 years young. Turned that August 17th. It's an Arnie's birthday Zoom, and we've had some technological issues already with this interview. Howell's been patient, and we appreciate that. Howell, happy birthday, a belated happy birthday, but happy birthday to you.
Legendary in my own mind, not my own time.
Well, I think you're pretty legendary. You and I have enjoyed conversations over the last several years, and you always bring me some wisdom and a little bit of baloney at the same time.
Well, yeah,
But I enjoy that very much. It's one of my favorite parts of my job. Now, you are a true knucklehead because you've been a subscriber to our website for years, and we're grateful for that. And you and I have to work every time your password doesn't work. We get you hooked up. But give us the elevator speech of who Howell Wheaton is. You were at Purdue. It's starting in 1950.
right.
You were there from 19 to 1968. Tell us about your esteemed career in the state of Missouri and what kept you busy all these years.
Well, I'm Aggie, as it's obvious by my hat.
Yeah.
Always been a cowboy. Grew up in the hills of southern Indiana. Actually, at a little village called Wheatonville, which, if you don't know where it's at, it's south of Buckskin and north of Daylight, east of Hobstock, Rosebud.
There you go.
20 miles north of Evansville. And we now have a good recruit. We're coming from southern Gibson County named
Brady Allen, right? You got it. See, I knew you were a knucklehead. You were on top of everything we do here. That's what we appreciate. Brady Allen, the quarterback, who will be coming to Purdue after his senior year in Evansville.
Right. And all the great players from that area. Dave Shellhouse from Evansville, Bob Ford. You remember him?
Yes. How about a guy named Bob Greasy?
All those great guys. And then Orton, the quarterback, was from Iowa, but there was a quarterback, me, from Vincennes.
Yeah, Curtis Painter.
Yeah, Painter, of course.
Yeah.
How could I forget Painter? And believe it or not, I was there for homecoming, sitting in the end zone when Orton made the famous fumble right in front of me. So there I go again. And Purdue sports been disappointing since 1868.
But they've had some good moments, and we talked about that 1953 game and kind of one of your first big memories, beating Michigan State. Tell us that story. As you recall it, Purdue, of course, a big underdog against the #1 ranked Michigan State the year before. I believe they joined the Big Ten. But tell us a little bit about that.
Belong to the Big Ten. I believe it was even before Duffy Daugherty was coach.
Right, Biggie Munn was the coach, I believe.
But anyway, Purdue scored a touchdown in the first half and missed the kick, naturally.
Yeah.
And we go into halftime clinging to a 6-0 lead. And Purdue had kicked off to Michigan State to start the second half, and they ran the darn thing back for a touchdown. And the balloon was collapsing.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
There was a penalty flag, and they called it back. And the game stayed at 6-0. And when we got into the last part of the last quarter, I was sitting over in the faculty section as a graduate student on the edge there, away from the student section. And it got absolutely quiet.
Yeah.
Just if we make a noise, they'll score.
Yeah.
And it ended 6-0. But I always remember how quiet the stands got. There is another memory about when I was a freshman. That's when Purdue defeated Notre Dame.
Right.
And broke another long winning streak. And I had an 8 o'clock class. And I later got to know the great president, Frederick Hovde.
Yeah.
was a privilege, but I was just a 27-year-old broken down Marine freshman
Yeah.
in school. And he he called us off and he made a speech. And in that Minnesota accent of his, he reminded us that those boys from Notre Dame put their pants on one leg at a time or something
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
And he called off classes. He might as well. Nobody was going anyway.
Yeah. That's true. All right. Now, Purdue over the years has been sometimes been a day late, a dollar short, but you have lived a life of optimism. You've been in the ag. You've worked for. You're still actively farming at age 98. Give us some optimism about, I mean, this year could be a big year. You never know. I mean, basketball is going to be great.
When I left Purdue, I think it was the beef industry that Missouri has gotten so large into. And when they were developing the University of Missouri, people to work with that, they recruited me away from Purdue. That's essentially what happened. And as I said, Indiana had about 240,000 mature mama beef cows. Missouri had 2.4 million. And
Yeah.
they were asking me to be part of that research group to work with this and forages and all that junk. And so I've never looked back, but I'm still Purdue. And
Yeah.
I ended up registered Angus cattle business. And I always said an old good old black cow, grab her by the tail and she'll pull you through thick and thin. You'll get a real kick out of it too. But
Absolutely.
that was a
Absolutely.
sneaker.
All right. Now you got to, before we close our interview, tell me about your birthday party a couple weeks ago. They drank all your whiskey. I don't think that's right, is it?
Furnished them beef and booze, and had nearly 200 people came out of the woodwork from somewhere, and it was a great party. And they drank all my good scotch and just left me an empty bottle or two. And there was another knucklehead there, Gary Felger, that I think
Yes.
and I think he helped empty some of that stuff because he was short-swing from ear to ear when he told me goodbye that evening.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I'm glad you celebrated in style, and we hope to be able to see you up by. You're talking about. I know you have a family event in Evansville, and maybe just maybe you'll make your way up to West Lafayette. But you've given us all a treat today to be able to hear a little bit about what is going on in the world of Howell Wheaton. Yes, you are a legend in your own mind, but you're a legend as well. We appreciate your business as a subscriber, but most of all, we appreciate your friendship and your wisdom. You give us a lot of wisdom from time to time.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks so much, Howell. We appreciate you, and have a great birthday week.